Hello, welcome to Pride of London Fan TV, and welcome back. It's been a while, hasn't it? It almost feels like we've given up Crystal Palace for Lent. And I must say, a couple of weeks off Roy Ball has been very good for the soul. Let's get into it, though. I mean, there's been some interesting things going on around the club in this period where we haven't played. Of course, we didn't play for about 3 weeks in general. We weren't involved in the FA Cups. Of course, we went out to Wolves without having a shot on target quite a while ago now. And then obviously the international break. But a lot of noise around the management position this week in particular, the last few days, a lot of links to Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche didn't rule himself out of it in his press conference, played quite a straight bat, but he didn't rule it out. And of course, Eddie Howe's links to Celtic grow stronger by the day. But there was something out there today, and you don't know how to take all of these sources and how verified they are. But there was something today, an article today saying that Celtic are worried that Palace could offer him a different project. Roy Hodgson himself still, of course, not saying anything on the matter. So who knows what is going on there? It really is a case of guess what is going on in Steve Parish's head right now. Who knows? I mean, could he possibly, as the skeptic in me after the season ticket announcement this week about renewals, could it possibly be that they're just waiting for people to sign up for their season tickets and then announce another year of Roy Ball? I really do not know. What do you think? What do you think about the management speculation? What are your thoughts? Who would you like if Roy does go? Let me know in the comments below. There's also the contractual situations as well. Andros Townsend on TalkSport saying that they've been told that they will be let known at the end of the season what is happening there. I mean, is that a good thing? Andros himself saying that he goes onto the pitch at times thinking he's got to play well to earn a new contract. Is that healthy? I don't know. And then the flip side of that is towards the end of the season, some of these players won't be staying on. For example, Patrick Van Aanholt linked with Galatasaray earlier this week. And these contracts, they will be offered by clubs like Galatasaray, you know, in the Champions League, and no transfer fee involved if they're going on a free will be quite high. Will they be thinking, you know, I don't want to go on the pitch and get an injury? And I'm not saying there are any players who would do that, but it might be a subconscious thing. You think back as well to the Ryan Fraser situation with Bournemouth last season. So to be honest, I don't think this is a healthy situation for the club at all. How have we got to this situation where 10 players, at least key players, well, arguably key players, squad players, are coming out up to the end of their contract? I mean, that's not Roy's fault. That blames lies squarely really with Dougie Freedman, director of football, and Steve Parish as well. It's going to be very, very interesting, I must say. Looking ahead to the rest of the season, I think it'll be more interesting off the pitch than on it. However, we've got a lot to play for going into the weekend. We were 12th and we were 4 points off 10th. I still think we'll finish somewhere between 11th and 15th, as I've said all season. But even then, there's a lot to play for between 11th and 15th, a couple of million worth for each position in the Premier League. And if we're going to let all these players go, which it looks likely that quite a few of these players out of contract will go, we're going to need to rebuild a squad. So the more money we can earn through league position, the better. Everton. So Everton, let's start thinking ahead to that game. The earlier game in the season at Selhurst Park was quite unlucky, wasn't it? We had the handball from Joel Ward, and then the rule was changed after the game. So we did feel a bit hard done by there, didn't we? And I thought we matched Everton in the first game, but they did play very, very well, and they have improved a lot this season under Ancelotti with some good transfers. They recruited well in the summer, so it will be a tough game, and I think we've got an outside chance, but we'll see. Let's go into it anyway. Let's have a look. So I'm going to have a little show you now what my team would be, and always on these podcasts, I do what my team would be, and as opposed to what Roy's team would be. So this is my first 11 for the game at Goodison Park. I've got Vincente Guaita in goal. No need for a change there. Tyrick Mitchell. Now, injury situation is, according to Roy's press conference, only Tyrick Mitchell is back, which is a massive blow in the sense that there's still no James McCarthy, no James MacArthur, and also still no Nathan Ferguson. Will we actually see him this season? Tyrick Mitchell straight in for me, mainly because, you know, he's the youngster, he's the future, and with Patrick Van Aanholt being linked with Galatasaray this week, let's go for someone who hopefully will be with us for a few more years. So Mitchell comes in, rarely lets us down this season, and I have him at left back. Right back, Joel Ward. Don't see a need for a change there. Nathaniel Klein is touch and go to be fit anyway, and he's just so loyal and so dependable, isn't he, Joel Ward? I mean, if I did have a daughter, I don't have a daughter, but if I did, I'd happily walk my daughter up the aisle to marry Joel Ward and give her away to Joel Ward, because he is such a lovely fella, isn't he? A loyal, dependable guy, and he's one of the out-of-contract players that we really need to get sorted for me. He's worth keeping just as a character in the dressing room and make it a testimonial year as well, Steve Parish. Cahill and Kouyaté at centre-backs, see no reason for a change to a partnership that was actually adding a bit of strength and solidifying us after some inconsistency in who the partnership was before the break. So Cahill and Kouyaté at centre-back. And you know, I think they have proven themselves to be a reasonably loyal, steady partnership, solid partnership, but they will be tested obviously by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Central midfield. Now this is where I'm disappointed, because I would have liked James McCarthy to sit in front of that back four and protect us. Everton recruited really well in the summer in that position with Doucouré and Allen, and I think when we played better teams this season, we've been overrun with the 4-4-2, with just playing two through the middle. But I think our hands are a bit tied. I think Roy will go 4-4-2, partially because we have a lack of central midfielders available, but I would play Eze in the advanced central role. He hasn't made himself really undroppable in that position when he has been given a chance. It's actually been quite disappointing, I think, when he's been given that role. We've been crying out for it, many fans, for a while, and he never really sparkled in that role yet. But I do think that's his long-term position, and I think we need to persevere with him in that role. And like I said, I think we go two in the middle, will get overrun. If Rodriguez plays, we'll get outpassed through the middle. So I think 3 in the middle for me is a no-brainer against a team like Everton, but I do expect Roy to go 4-4-2. So Jairo and Luca pick themselves, really, because they are two available. But I do think Luca was playing better before the break. The 3 in front, so you got Eze, as I said, and then you got Saha and Schlupp, but I think that's very fluid. They're very interchangeable. Eze and Saha, I think, in particular, could rotate there, and Saha could drift into the central position that he's been so prolific from this season, and he himself has said he enjoys, as he's more advanced on goal, takes on one, and he's through on goal. So I think Eze and Saha will be very fluid, but I think Jeffrey Schlupp is a reason for us to be optimistic for the rest of the season. Because this time, you know, when we started coming back on Project Restart, we didn't have a fit Jeffrey Schlupp, and he's so key to our counter-attack and our transitional play. I think that doesn't get mentioned enough. He's so integral to our system. And again, like Eze and Saha, he could drift through the centre. He could also drift from the right to the left. And he would be crucial to the fluidity in our play, but also most crucially to us being able to get out of our half, because let's be honest, we will camp in our half, but Schlupp will help us get up that pitch. So Saha, Eze and Schlupp in behind Christian Benteke, who is quite rightly the first choice striker this season. He's deserved that. He's earned that through some important goals. I'd just love us to give him a bit more service. I'd love us to, provide him with some decent crosses more regularly. And that's the only negative for me about those 3, Saha, Eze and Schlupp, is I don't think any of them really. Eze maybe can put a cross on a sixpence for Benteke, or right on his head, in the way that Andros Townsend possibly could. So as Andros Townsend proved he still can in that Brighton game. So for me as well, the onus will come on Luca, who did get a very good ball into Benteke and provide an assist for him just before we had the break. So can he get in a more advanced role? And also, can the fullbacks, they won't be bombing on, be too attacking. I think they can't afford to be with Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, and some of the attackers that Everton have. But can they get forward and provide some crosses as well? We need to give Benteke more. He's done so well on the scraps he's been fed this season. I'd love us to give him more, but not holding my breath on that, really. So that's my team. Do you think that the one change I think that might be different is I think Jordan Ayew is a massive Roy Hodgson favourite. And for me this season, he has just not been as good as he was in the season before, often going on mazy runs, down cul-de-sacs, where the only thing he finds is the opposition player. But he does work hard for the team, and that's why I think Jordan Ayew could feature at the expense of Jeffrey Schlupp or even Eze we'll wait and see what Roy does. Always fun, isn't it? Waiting for Roy's team selections. Okay, so that's my team. What would your team be? Let me know in the comments below. What would your team be for the Everton game? Always interested to know your views. So let me know your views on the team in the comments below. Key man for Everton. Well, I think there are quite a few obvious ones, but before I start really on the obvious ones, there's a few who go under the radar, like Godfrey at the back, a really good signing from Norwich for £20 million, plays across the back four for them. And their left back as well, Lucas Digne, 6 assists this season, so we'll need to be really closing him down. But I mean, Calvert-Lewin is an obvious one, isn't he? Done really well for my fantasy football team. And I think he's unlucky, really. He's been so prolific this season. He's unlucky in the sense that he's got Harry Kane in front of him for England. But the one I'm going to go for, the key man I'm going to go for is Rodriguez. Now, the only question marks on him is his fitness. But I was on an Everton podcast earlier today, and the Everton fans I spoke to do believe that Rodriguez will be fit. And for me, he's the key player because he can find the needle in the haystack. He can play the ball that will unlock our defence. And obviously, we're going to camp probably in Everton in our own half. We'll sit back. And I think that's why Rodriguez will be so key to unlocking that. He will probably play, he might not even be the assist or the goal. He might be the pass before the assist, as he was in Everton's first goal against us at Selhurst Park. But he will have that intelligence to open us up. And we just sit back like we do for 90 minutes. He'll find a way through at some point, I think. So Rodriguez will be really, really key, I think, to the game. So he is my Everton key player. Who's your Everton key player? Again, let me know in the comments below. Predictions. I'm actually, strangely, maybe it's the 3 weeks off, but I'm actually strangely optimistic. I think this is just one of those games where we all look and think, how's Roy managed to get some points there? But he has got a good record on the whole when we played better teams. And I think this could be a game where, you know, he sets us up and we smash and grab. Like I said, what makes me confident is we've got Schlupp and Saha and Eze, which if we play all three, means we can counter effectively. And Everton have had some poor defeats against some of the teams this season who play like us. They've lost to Burnley, they've lost to Newcastle, and and Fulham as well. And these are teams who sit back and try and counter. And they've lost all those games at Goodison Park. So there is cause for hope. That's why I'm quite hopeful. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. But Rodriguez does worry me. And that's the thing. If he's not playing, then Everton recruited well in the summer, but maybe more for their first 11. They still lack a bit of depth on the bench, for example, when they lose a few players like Rodriguez, Iwobi comes in. And that's like replacing Paul McCartney and the Beatles with H from Steps. Apologies to any Steps fans out there. So 1-1 for me is my prediction. What's your prediction? Let me know in the comments below. What's your team for the game on Monday? What are your thoughts really about the season in general? How are we going to finish off? What's your thoughts on the managerial situation and the contractual situations? Let me know. Love the interaction. Leave a comment in the comments below. And as always, if you have enjoyed this video, please press that subscribe button.